guys, so today we have a very simple video which is a response sort of to what has been going on the US television. So on the US television, a lot of blame has been assigned to video games in respect to the mass shootings that happened on the last couple of weeks. There were at least two mass shootings, one involving um, the one that we saw here in Europe in the elementary school, where a lot of children were killed, and two or three school teachers, I'm not sure. But concerning that, um, immediately the right-wing media tried to explain that not for the boy, which he was a boy. He was 18, but he was a boy that suffered tremendous bullying at school, that had free access to heavy weaponry, that played video games, that didn't go to church all that often. Immediately they assigned blame to what's easy to blame. And what is easy to blame? Of course, video games and not going to church. Mind you that this video will only be in English because these problems don't exist in Portugal. These problems with mass shootings don't exist in Portugal. And I'm going to explain why during the video. Okay? So, um, concerning the mass shooting that occurred there, he had access to two automatic weapons with the designation of assault rifles. Now, those weapons here in Portugal, they're considered weapons of war. They're only available to certain law enforcement agencies and divisions inside those law enforcement agencies. It's not any kind of beat cop that has access to those weapons. And of course, special forces. And concerning that designation, the AR-15, only our special forces have access to that type of weaponry because it's too heavy. It's a weapon that is not a defensive weapon. It's an offensive weapon here in Portugal. It's classified like that. Normal troops have access to a Portuguese-made weapon called the G3, and that's not it's a submachine gun. It's not a machine gun. It's a submachine gun, which means it uses pistol rounds as its main ammunition. But that point aside, now the AR-15, there's limited numbers of that weapon here in Portugal for a reason. The government doesn't want the general public to have access to that. Not even deactivated weapons are allowed. They are considered weapons of war, and it is a very big crime if you open even owning a deactivated unit. It's a crime. So here in Portugal, sure, we have the problem of bullying. Okay? I myself was bullied at school, and that generated for me to turn into a bully. And you know what? Now I live 2 buildings away to the person that I bullied at school. And I'm ashamed of it. I am ashamed of myself, of what I did. And that is a tremendous motivator for me to change, to defend that bullying should be addressed. Now, imagine in the US, that the amount of weapons that you guys sell, let's imagine that you spend that money creating forums, creating cabinets, creating offices at schools, in schools, with the sole purpose of dealing with bullies, with dealing with I'm not saying shove them in prisons. You have a problem there on your own. Prisons are overpopulated with misdemeanors that I'm not even going there right now. And I hope I don't have to do a video about that. But it's very easy to blame not going to church, for example. The church instills in people a sense of quietness, a sense of belongingness, a sense of community. Mind you, that it may institute the sense of community. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm saying all I'm saying is if I go to church, yeah, I will want to kill the priest. But jokes aside, this isn't a reason. Okay, certain padres out there and ministers, whatever you want to call them in your church in America, they're not there to give you peace. They're there to get your money. That's it. That's the bottom line. They're there to get your money. We have flagrant cases of ministers wanting that you give a certain part of your paycheck so you can buy a new plane. And you know why? Because he doesn't want to be in a plane with you, the small people. Now, if that doesn't institute in yourself a little bit of revolt and of wanting that guy in jail and blah blah blah, I don't know what does. It's all on you. But there is that problem in America. Most ministers, most padres out there, they have issues of their own. Some of them defend ideas that shouldn't be defended, like um, the conspiracy theories instituted by Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm not a Trump supporter, and I hate that guy. Um, if Trump would be in power right now, Ukraine would have fallen. NATO would have been disbanded because that guy would have quit NATO. And right now, the Russians could have been at the doors of Paris. Since there isn't a united defense of the territories of NATO, because there is no NATO, he would have attacked. He was saying that he was denazifying the Nazis of Europe, which means all the other peoples. But I'll do a video on that next week. That's not really a video game theme, but I think I need to address that. Because there will be game developers out there that will capitalize on the conflict of Ukraine. What is the main issue that drove that boy to do what he did? His mother said that we shouldn't judge him because he had reasons to do it. No, he didn't. Okay? He didn't. He should be judged. And she should be judged as well, heavily. And I'm going to explain why. Video games nowadays are violent. Not all of them. Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, and others are still considered mildly acceptable, but a lot of them are very violent. But does that institute in a person the desire to commit crimes of tremendous nature? Now, with that, I do not know. With that, I'm not sure that it does. But what does cause a person to commit that type of horrendous crimes is very assuredly the free access to weaponry. Not free, you paid for the guns, you paid for the rifles, but here in Portugal, with the same amount of money, you wouldn't get anything. Nothing. Because, number one, no one would sell an 18-year-old a sidearm, a pistol, because you have to go to an organization that evaluates your mental capacities, that evaluates if you have any kind of training or desire to have training in the respect of utilization and maintenance of the gun, blah, 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 blah. It takes about 4 to 5 months for him to acquire a pistol. And seeing that he had psychological problems, that would be immediately flagged by the psychologists that evaluate a person here. So let's imagine that the money that you guys spend on funerals, on psychological help to the victims, of the people that stay behind, the parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters. Let's imagine that the money that you guys spend on that could be well placed in gun registration and gun implementation of security measures. Now, I'm not sure that stopping the sale of that type of weaponry would have any future on the US. The US, especially the south of the US, are they're gun addicts. They don't have one gun to protect their household. They have an entire arsenal, if need be. And let me just address this. There isn't any need be. Okay, there isn't any need of that. None. Now, Portugal has been at war with Spain. We've had the Ultramar War in Africa. And you know what? I don't have a weapon to protect my household. None. Not even a gun. Nothing. You know why? Because by owning a gun, there's always the temptation of using it to resolve problems. A gun doesn't resolve any problem. A gun is a problem. You have to spend money to maintenance of the respective gun, the oil, new ammunition, because certain times ammunitions do go sour because of the metals that they use. And of course, I would have to buy a safe to keep the gun because I have two kids. I'm not going to leave the gun in a cabinet or over there. They'll pick it up and then we'll have an accident. Someone is shot in the head with a gun. Gun safety and gun rules and gun regulation needs to be institutionalized in the US quickly, so you guys can stop with this nonsense of mass shootings. My daughter, if you want to blame video games, for example, this is a video game channel, so I'm going to address the accusation that Mr. Tucker Carlson said that could have been stopped if they stopped him from playing video games, aggressive video games like Fortnite. Let me tell you a story. So I installed Fortnite quite a long time ago, um, on my PlayStation 4, because all the colleagues of my daughter played the game. They wanted to play the game, and she wanted to try it out. Immediately on the dashboard, the place that you log into the game, create a character, blah 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 blah, and then log in to actually pick out a character and start a game. Immediately she started being insulted with the people that entered her dashboard. Oh, I'm going to kill you. Your mom is that. Your mom is another thing. Your dad is this. Your dad is that. I'm going to shove this in your lady parts. You guys get the idea. Same thing on Call of Duty, by the way. Um, that's not being that's not being competitive. That's being obnoxious and a fool. But I immediately did one thing as a responsible parent. I uninstalled the game. I told her, you're not going to play this, period. Because I don't trust in the moderation of that game, on the development team of that game, and then on the players of that game. So there's three things that you guys need to address. These three things I said. If you don't trust the development team, don't play the game. If you don't trust the moderation that is supposed to stop this kind of attitudes, don't play the game. If the players are toxic, don't play the game. But did that mom have this kind of conversation with that child? No, he was entertained, so he was quiet in his own room and didn't give any trouble to her concerning anything, because she was busy doing her nails, doing this, doing that. She should have paid more attention to that kid. Better parenting could have resolved this, not stopping video games from being played. In this case, her good parenthood could have resulted in him stopping playing that specific video game. A video game that I, for one, do not defend anyone playing is Fortnite. It's not moderated. They stop cheats because it damages their bottom line, their money, but they don't stop people from insulting each other. There is no moderation. So, to me, there is no money to them. Simple. I hurt them where it counts. Being a good father. Now, it is very quick for me to judge a person now that she lost her son. It's very easy for me to do this, do that. But it's really easy to stop this by doing a couple of things that I'm going to say. Be more active as a father or a mother. Even more so if you're a singular parent. Second, investigate what your son is doing. Be active in his life. Try to understand what's bugging him. Investigate the school that he's in if there are any kinds of reports of bullying. Now, this can be whitewashed by the school. I do know that Portuguese schools do this. They whitewash the reports of bullying a lot. But if you're really attentive, you'll notice the signs. Second, gun registration. Gun registration is very important because it will limit the amount of terrible weapons at loose in your society, even if it's just for a census of who has what. Third, create in the schools or in your community. It would be more effective if it is in the school and in the community itself as well. Committees that go around the schools, that provide services to the children of detecting the ones that are being bullied and act upon it. I'm not saying condemn the bullies, not saying that. I'm saying help the ones that are being bullied psychologically, actively. Give them a hand, give them an ear for them to express their outrage. Because if they're being bullied, they will be outraged. These 5 topics could help your society a lot. And I do know that they cost a lot of money. All of them. Oh, well, except being a good father or good mother. All of them will cost money to the state. But I think the state will be in better conditions to say that they have a good society, a good cultured society. Now, the NRA hosting that meeting only 1 or 2 weeks after the shooting, that was completely uncalled for and insulting. And they were selling guns out the door there. Weapons of war. The NRA doesn't care about you. They don't care about the general public. They care about the lobby in the Senate. That gives them a lot of money. They care about your son going to a gun shop, buying an AR-15, keeping the AR-15 up to a point that he does a mass shooting. Then they don't care about him. You know why? He's either dead at the end of it or going to serve a life imprisonment. So he can't buy another gun, another rifle. Then the NRA, oh, that guy, we don't care about him. You know why? Because it's not a money maker anymore. That's the bottom line. So guys, in the final analysis, is video games to blame concerning that boy's condition? In this case, it has a small part of blame. But the biggest part of blame is the mother. She wasn't attentive with what he was doing. She saw what she wanted to see. A good boy. She didn't care if he was being bullied or not. Possibly not even aware of that. She allowed her son to buy weaponry of war. And finally, she didn't act upon any of these situations. She didn't ask for help. Because there were no help. There was no help. American society, after all these reasons, American society is this. It doesn't provide help to children that are being bullied. It doesn't provide help to stopping the situation from escalating. And after these two, things escalate until they blow up. Should Fortnite Call of Duty, Battlefield, and a couple of others should be responsibilized. Should they have any kind of responsibility for what happened? Yes, they should. Specifically Fortnite, because that's what the kid played. Fortnite should really take this into account. Stop moderating that piece of shit. And in order for them to improve their own responsibility towards building a better tomorrow. Fortnite doesn't build anything of that sense. It's an entertainment agency, nothing more. But it does share responsibility. Not because the game is violent, mind you. Portuguese people, Portuguese children play Fortnite. They're not violent. They don't go around shooting um, schools and school children and the like. They don't go around doing that. Now, what to do in this respect? Fortnite should be responsible for a lot of what happened, and it should have their own development team investigate it. They need to better police their forums. They need to better police their game playing action for insults, for promises of violence, and expel those people completely. No matter what money they've spent in the game, because that is also the bottom line here. They don't kick or permaban or ban or whatever you guys want to call it. They don't do that to their players because their players are always coughing up money for the new skins, for the new characters, for the new weapons, for the new this, that. They give them the money, okay? They don't kick people because of that. So people have carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want. This needs to stop. There needs to be a responsible action towards this, specifically from the game developer towards the game community. So guys, I wanted to do a short video and we're almost half an hour in. I hope you guys understand that this was solely to make you guys understand that this needs to be addressed. Game violence needs to be addressed more fluently, more cohesively, more responsibly. Is video games to blame for the shootings? No, there's only 3 people to blame for the shootings. The people that sell the gun, the people that shoot the gun, and the people that were standing around doing nothing. Well, these 2 happened. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you guys keep on playing, and I'll see you on the next video.